Some people turn their pain into music, and Keith Urban is one of them. He's not just a Grammy-winning country star. He's also a man who has loved, lost, and is learning to get back up after his own hard times. And the CMA Award for Entertainer of the Year goes to Keith Urban. It was amazing to see someone who's just so incredibly in their zone right now. I think she's just in such a good place. After almost 20 years of marriage with Nicole Kidman, it ended quietly. Urban came back with the song Love Is Hard, where every note feels like something he couldn't say out loud. Let's look back at Keith Urban's journey from tough years to a love for music that never goes away. But I don't even hear from you. Would you ever notice? Before becoming a big name on music charts, Urban had a rough childhood. He entered the music world with a guitar, a love for music, and his own loneliness. But the further he went, the harder the pressure got. The loneliness of an artist is always different from regular people. It's both loud and empty. Urban said that he once thought drinking alcohol could bring peace, but really it only made the sadness more clear. His addiction almost ended his career. Sleepless nights, blurry tours, and worried friends made him realize he was losing himself. Now you're going out. The decision to go to rehab was both brave and a way to save himself. At the treatment center, Urban thought about his past. He admitted he once didn't love himself enough to stay sober, and without that, he couldn't truly love anyone else. Coming back to the stage, he had turned pain into music, singing with honest emotion and strength that proved he had beaten it. When life started to settle down, Keith Urban met Nicole Kidman, the woman who made him believe love could heal all wounds. Their marriage, once a picture of quiet perfection, slowly drifted apart as his endless tours and her movie work created two separate worlds where distance became emptiness. In recent years, rumors of fighting between them started to show up. Though both carefully stayed quiet, they were still seen together at big events, still giving each other loving looks. But behind it all were problems they couldn't fix. Urban was a man of the stage, living through emotion and acting on feelings, while Kidman needed stability and quiet. Even so, they never let their disagreements become public drama. When love was no longer whole, they chose to part in silence, a gentle, painful goodbye. In September 2025, a short press release was sent out. Keith Urban and Nicole Kidman ended their 19-year marriage. No specific reason, no blame, only a line saying, "We asked for privacy for our family." The world went quiet. Those who loved them, those who believed in lasting love in show business, felt a deep sense of loss. But for Urban, it was a turning point that wasn't easy to handle. He stayed silent before the media, appearing only in shows that were already scheduled. During a concert in Denver, he shared briefly that some things cannot be held forever. Music would help us understand why we once loved. After the separation, Urban went back to a simpler life. He spent time with his two daughters, stayed away from parties and long interviews. Some reports said he had canceled a few shows. Others claimed he was in therapy. No one knew for sure because he didn't speak. That silence seemed to be the only way he could keep a piece of peace for himself. According to a friend who spoke with Rolling Stone, Urban was learning to accept and let music lead the way. His later performances had a completely different feeling. Urban no longer talked much to the audience like before. Instead, he let the music tell the story. Each song was like a confession, a piece of his soul being let out. The audience didn't just listen to songs. They listened to a man trying to stand up after a fall. That is the strange power of music. When words are not enough, melodies speak for emotion. From the wreckage and silence, Keith Urban came out as a changed man. He no longer tried to run from pain, but learned to face it, turning it all into music. Every song written since then felt like a story, not of a man who gave up, but of one who had lived, loved, and learned to let go. In the moments that seemed weakest, Urban found his strongest toughness. A love for music still burning quietly like a flame that never dies. The undying passion. After all the chaos, the Keith Urban of today is no longer the young artist who once ran across Nashville with a guitar worn down by his fingers, nor the dazzling star standing in the spotlight of early fame. He is a man who's been through storms, who understands the value of peace and of music. Now, in his 50s, Urban still chooses to stand on stage, not for fame, but because it is where he finds himself again. Many once thought that after his divorce from Nicole Kidman, Keith Urban would step back to rest or change his career. But he didn't. Instead of closing himself off, he opened his heart more to music. The year 2025 became a special turning point in Urban's creative journey, where pain was no longer a wound, but valuable material for writing a new chapter. In July 2025, Urban released the single Love Is Hard. As soon as it came out, the song made a powerful impact on the Billboard charts, not only for its sad melody, but for the honesty of its lyrics. Love is hard, but I will still love even if my heart breaks once more, he sang. That voice no longer showed off skill, but carried the tone of someone who had tasted both sweetness and bitterness. Listeners felt the loneliness, but also a clear strength that refused to give up. The media described Love Is Hard as the most grown-up song in Keith Urban's career. It did not try to prove anything. It simply told his true story. In the music video, Urban sat alone on an empty stage under soft light, strumming the guitar gently, an image that reminded fans of the artist who had started everything in such simplicity. Alongside music, Keith Urban spent time with his small remaining family, his two daughters, Sunday Rose and Faith Margaret. He considered being a father the most important role of his life. Without a tight schedule, he stayed in Nashville, where his daughters went to school, so he could take them to school and have dinner together whenever possible. Friends said he wanted his children to see him as an ordinary father, not the image of a star. Still, his personal life never made him forget the mission of an artist. At the end of 2025, Urban announced he was working on a new studio album expected to be released early next year. He described the project as a journey of healing and a new beginning. Beyond music, Urban remained one of the most active artists in charity work. He regularly donated to funds supporting struggling musicians, school music programs, and cancer charities, the disease that had taken his beloved father. It is that very honesty that has brought him back to the peak where an artist needs no proof, only to sing with all his heart, the glory of a career. When Keith Urban set foot in Nashville, the capital of American country music, he carried a simple belief. As long as music could touch the human heart, he could last. From a New Zealand-born young man with wind-dusted blonde hair, Urban became one of the most beloved figures in modern country. His story is not only about success, but about finding himself in the middle of fame and learning to hold on to happiness in a world filled with too much light. The early 2000s marked a turning point in Urban's career. After years of nonstop effort, he released Golden Road, the album that changed everything. The lead single, Somebody Like You, became a big deal, topping the Billboard Hot Country Songs chart for 8 straight weeks. With its lively melody and heartfelt lyrics, the song carried his name beyond country borders to pop audiences. From that moment, he was no longer just a Nashville star, but a global symbol of where tradition met modern times. That success was no accident. Urban stayed true to his own voice, mixing the rustic spirit of country with the youthful pulse of pop rock. He wanted even those who had never listened to country to find themselves in his songs. This openness made him a bridge between generations, helping the genre some considered old-fashioned feel fresh and alive again. From Golden Road onward, his career entered full bloom. The albums Be Here and Love Pain and the Whole Crazy Thing ruled the charts with hits like Days Go By, Better Life, and Tonight, I Wanna Cry. His elegant mix of electric guitar and traditional tones made his music both dynamic and deeply emotional. Tours across the United States and Europe soon turned him into one of the highest-earning country artists. He won 4 Grammy Awards, including Best Male Country Vocal Performance, along with dozens of honors from the CMA and ACM. Beyond performing, Urban became a judge on American Idol, guiding hundreds of young contestants to grow their dreams. With fame, he kept a humble and down-to-earth lifestyle, a quality that only deepened fans' affection for him. Then, at the height of his career, came something unexpected. Nicole Kidman. They met in 2005 at an event in Los Angeles. She was an Oscar-winning actress. He, a rising country star. Two people from different worlds. They found in each other an unspoken harmony. I saw in her what I'd always been looking for. Stillness. Urban once said. A year later, they married in a warm church ceremony in Sydney, Australia. Their love story soon became a symbol of lasting romance between two artists. Kidman often spoke of Urban with gratitude, saying he helped her find love and trust again after trouble. For Urban, her presence was an anchor, bringing peace and meaning to his life. Their two daughters, Sunday Rose and Faith Margaret, completed the image of a rare, happy family in show business. Urban often said that Kidman made him a better man and helped him stay balanced. Fans saw him thank her in award speeches or mention her in songs with quiet affection. They appeared together at concerts, holding hands and smiling. A picture of love admired worldwide. Happiness in Hollywood was never easy. Urban's demanding tours and Kidman's film commitments meant long separations. They learned to love across distances and always supported each other's art. When Urban entered rehab for alcohol addiction, Kidman stayed by his side, helping him through his darkest time. In 2018, Urban launched the Graffiti U World Tour, attracting over 1 million fans globally. He wrote, performed, and championed emerging artists' music on stage. His energy and honesty made audiences feel he was singing directly to them. No wall between performer and listener. During this period, Urban became the face of several campaigns, promoting Australia's image, representing the harmony of talent, culture, and humanity. He joined numerous charitable efforts, donating to children's funds and cancer research, keeping his reputation as a caring and down-to-earth artist. Still, behind the bright lights and applause, perhaps only he knew the cost. Fame was not all glory. The higher he climbed, the heavier the pressure became. And sometimes passion itself felt like a chain. There are moments I think I'm singing to live, he once said. But in truth, I sing to survive. Those words showed the inner conflict of a man who constantly struggled to stay balanced between art and emotion. To understand how Keith Urban managed to stay strong in the middle of success and still keep his spirit clear, one must look back to the beginning, to the boy in New Zealand who started writing songs with passion and his father's old wooden guitar. That same boy grew into a man whose music continues to bridge worlds between past and present, between pain and peace, between fame and the quiet pursuit of truth. Urban's journey is more than a story of talent. It is the story of lasting power, love, and faith. A reminder that even in a life surrounded by light, the truest glow comes from within. Through every chord and lyric, Keith Urban continues to remind us that music, at its heart, is about survival, about finding oneself again and again, one song at a time. Brilliant beginnings. Before becoming a global country star, Keith Urban was a boy from the small town of Whangarei, New Zealand. Born into a modest Australian English family, his father, Robert, owned a motorcycle accessory shop. His mother, Marianne, was an accountant. Both loved music.